G'day, welcome back to the channel. Another video so quickly on this topic, but I wanted to try and find out whether this was a real or a faked video. So I consulted the experts. I got hold of Niko at Corridor Digital. Now these are the guys are the experts in visual effects. That's what they do for a job. It's their full-time job, and they do some fantastic work. And also they have an interest in drones. They've done some work with Rotor Riot, so they understand drones, they understand the culture, they understand people, and they understand special visual effects using computers and camera angles and everything to get really amazing results and making the impossible possible. So who better to give an informed opinion on the veracity of this video? So I contacted Niko, and he came back to me and said, yeah, he thinks it's real. He thinks it's real. Oh no. So it's going to be very difficult to prove that this is anything but what it seems to be. But I'm going to have a look through because I noticed some things, and I think other people may notice these things, but I'm going to try and show you what appears to be fake but probably isn't, right? So let's just start the video here, and first thing I'm going to point out is we have the formation of aircraft here, and then there's the wingman. The wingman sits right out on the right hand side of the formation, usually behind the formation. I don't know what his role is. I don't know. I'm not versed in aerobatic flying and formation flying, but I suspect he's there just to keep an eye on everybody and perhaps warn someone if they're getting out of formation. His job's probably just to be the supervisor, you might say. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I'm speculating. This whole video is a bunch of speculation, and with that in mind, you can click away now and watch PewDiePie if you choose, but let me continue. So this is footage. This is also supposed to be drone footage. I'll just play it through and then we'll go back and look at it. So there we go. Formation comes round, camera pans round and up, and the prop comes into view here. There you go. Number of things to watch here. First of all, look at these smoke trails. Look how complicated the pattern is. You can see kind of a vortex spinning. You can see that there's a lot of difference in density. There's very dense parts, and then there's holes almost. So remember that pattern. Remember what that looks like. Let's go back now to the beginning of this scene and just watch how unsteady, how unsmooth the panning and the tilting is in this video, and how it's almost as if the craft has actually been a little bit upset. It doesn't look like a gimbal stabilized shot. We get up here and you can see this cloud bounces up and down a bit, just a smidgen of bouncing up and down. I'll go back frame by frame and hopefully you can see. So there we go. It is just there. See that? See that movement there? Where did that come from? I don't know. I would have thought in a gimbal stabilized quad you wouldn't get that. In fact, the later footage shot from the gimbal stabilized quad doesn't exhibit any unsteadiness. Let me just go to here. Look, let's just watch this bit and notice it's perfectly smooth. And this is despite the fact these jets are coming past in very close proximity. Even when we pan around, we get some jerkiness from the rendering, but it's smooth. The quad isn't displaced. It's not wobbling like it was with the shot before, which was in theory well away from the jets. There's no way the jets themselves could have caused the air to be disturbed enough to shake that quad as it comes around there. I don't think really that was going to be close enough to cause the kind of shaking that we see in that shot. But let's go back also. I want to look, let's just follow the craft around. Let's look at the wingman again. This is quite important. Here's the wingman way out here somewhere. He'll come into shot shortly. There he is, way out there, well to the right of the formation and behind. Notice he's behind, a long way behind in this case, on the ground footage. So, and again, look at those smoke trails. They are very variegated. They're very chopped up, and there's a lot of holes, and it's not even and smooth. It is obviously a lot of turbulence inside those smoke trails. We'll also get some more ground footage coming up in a second here, which will reinforce that view of the jet smoke. And there's that wingman again, out to the right and slightly behind this time, slightly behind. And even now you can see that? So there's definitely a turbulence inside those smoke trails. They're not just smooth, not smooth. And you can see here where shade from a cloud has actually changed the color of the jet trail because the sun is shining through the clouds. It's left a shadow on the contrails, on the smoke trail. It's quite important to watch. In fact, there's a lot of that. See all the way through here, there's a lot of clouds around there, leaving a lot of shadows on the jet trail. So you'd expect to see that later on, and we'll see whether we do see that later on. Let's now move forward to here we go, the gimbal shot. Right, now the first thing to notice here is, here are the jets, there's the wingman. Now, there is parallax involved here. We're looking at an angle, so parallax really upsets the relationship of things from a visual perspective. But it looks here as if he is a long way ahead of the jets that are coming. Let's just let things move along a bit further, and you'll notice it still looks like he's, even taking parallax into account, that looks like he's a lot further ahead of those craft, because if you look at the relative size of that craft, it looks bigger than these, when in theory, he should be a long way out to the right-hand side of this group. So even if there's parallax involved, this should always look smaller than those. It should always look smaller, but it looks bigger. So I don't know, that's just a bit, something that just struck me as being a little unusual. And now let's look at these contrails, right? They don't have any turbulence. This is just smooth. This is like someone's painted it with Microsoft Paint, with the soft-edged paintbrush. There's no variation in the density of this smoke. And also, despite the fact that all these clouds are around, there's no variation in the brightness of that smoke. Even as we come past here, these seem to be completely even illumination. This one is a bit darker, but it's not like a cloud is shining on there, because it's the whole length of this one changes. There's no real effect of the shadows. And we know the shadows. Look, there's a cloud shadow there, there's a cloud shadow there, and there was one over there. So there are shadows around still. And when we saw that flyby from the ground, the contrails were very, very clearly dappled with shadows from the clouds. There's nothing like that here. And again, these are soft and puffy and voluminous. There's no holes in this contrail. The density is far greater here than it was when viewed from the ground. Now, admittedly, there is a bit of an angle on here, but I don't think that angle is enough to completely change the nature of those contrails. And even when we come around like this, there's still a lot more thickness to these contrails. There's no holes in it. There's no indication of a really spiralling pattern that we got when viewed from the ground. And here's our wingman again. Let's just go back a moment here. You watch how long it takes from the time the wingman leaves the shot till he re-enters, and just how fast the fighters are going, or the jet craft. So the wingman leaves now, so he's moving, but he's only travelled that far. And the time it took for those jet fighters to come right past, the wingman seems to have travelled very little distance. Let's just watch it again in real time so you can see. It's like he disappears from shot, and then suddenly he stops or slows right down, and then he's here again. How does that work? I don't know. Again, parallax, very difficult to do it. I mean, parallax could account for all of that. I'm not saying that that's, conclusive proof that this is fake. It's just that it just looks a little bit odd. But I will say, okay, probably just the parallax involved, because he's a lot further away than these are. So these will naturally appear to be moving much more quickly than he does. But even looking at the rate at which he's moving here, he seems to be moving far more quickly there, if we look at that, then if you imagine him continuing on and the thing pans around, I would have expected him to be much further ahead than this when the camera gets to this angle. But that doesn't seem to be the case. So there you go. That's the only things I noticed in this video that really are worth mentioning. And I still think, well, I'm going to defer to the corridor crew, because they are the experts. I'm just a rank amateur. I'm just playing around, just trying to find any reason to think that this could be fake. And my reasons are pretty, dubious. As I can explain this for other reasons. Although it may look like it's an indication of fakeness, I think there are other explanations for it. For example, the fact that these smoke trails here are so smooth and consistent, it may be an artifact of the camera on the drone, because obviously the camera used to get this footage is not the same as the camera that was used to get this footage. This is ground-based camera, so it's a different camera, different resolution. So this may look different because the camera just views it differently. I don't know. I've got no real idea. Now, a number of people have said, oh, this is terrible, it's going to change the hobby, blah, blah. Well, it's going to result in tougher regulation. Well, I don't think so. Well, it certainly shouldn't, because obviously this guy flying this drone, he has already broken so many regulations, it's not funny. So it would make no sense to try and, if someone is going to do this, they're going to completely ignore the regulations and the rules, right, and the law. So why would making the more laws or tougher laws make any difference? I mean, we've already seen things like speeding is illegal, but people still speed. Murder is illegal, but people still kill other people. There are so many things that are totally illegal, completely banned, and people still do them. So banning drones would not stop this. People like this would continue to do ridiculously stupid things. It's not a drone problem, it's a people problem. I've said this before. It's a stupid problem. It's a problem with stupid people. So we, hopefully, regulators, authorities will realise this, that it's, banning drones would serve no purpose at all. and that this is simply someone who's a rogue, a renegade who has made a really bad mistake and is now trying to cover their tracks, because someone pointed out to me, apparently the LinkedIn page of Mr. Lucia has also been deleted. He's busy trying to scurry away from responsibility for this, and I don't think he should be allowed to. I think he should be hauled up before the courts, and the full weight of the law should be dropped upon him. It's just not fair on the rest of the community if he doesn't get punished for his obviously ridiculously dangerous activities. Someone else said, hey, the real danger here isn't this guy with his drone, it's these damn jet fighters hooning across the top of a built-up area at great speed and low altitude. What if one of these jet fighters developed a problem and the pilot had to eject and the plane plunged into a populated area? That is going to cause far more damage than a drone. And I would say, you're absolutely right, but two wrongs do not make a right. You cannot say that just because these people are engaged in a highly dangerous activity, you should be allowed to do the same. No, two wrongs don't make a right. It doesn't make the fact that this is a dangerous operation in terms of the jet fighters doesn't make the drone operation anything other than what it is, which is reckless use of a drone. Absolutely outrageous. And I noticed the media has started picking up on this already. That video only had a few thousand views when I first spotted it. Now it's up to 40-something thousand. This is going to go ballistic. The media are looking for things to sensationalise and blow out of all proportion, although, to be honest, it's hard to blow this out of proportion because it is such a ridiculous and outrageous situation. We're going to have to deal with it. There's going to be fallout. And I'm hoping that the AMA, that they have nothing to do with this, they will make a statement on behalf of model flyers. I'm hoping the FPV Freedom Coalition will make a statement on behalf of people who fly FPV. I will be making a statement on behalf of people who fly models. We need to come out and distance ourselves completely from this idiot and just point out that this is not a hobbyist. This is someone who has done this completely on their own volition and in a reckless way, and we do not in any way endorse or support his activities, and we would like the full power of the law to be brought to bear on this person, and they should be locked up or prosecuted to the full extent of the law. That's all we can do. That's all we can do to try and recover some ground that has been massively eroded by this ridiculous activity. I wish I could have shown you that this was a fake video, but I can't. And the Corridor crew says they don't think it's fake either, so we're really stuck with this. Anyway, thanks for watching. Just wanted to update you. Now, if you do want to get more regular updates, sometimes when things like this happen, I use Twitter. Yes, I'm on Twitter. Yeah, I've got XJet is the Twitter handle. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, you'll find out before I put videos up, I'll often just tweet something out if there's something important that needs to be spread out there. So go for it. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Thanks for your subscriptions. Thanks to my Patreon supporters. And now I'm going to get on and do some real work. Bye for now.